Welcome back to Retirement Today. I'm your co-host Jonathan Berglund. With me, as always, in the studio, Michael Reese, certified financial planning professional for over 25 years. And Mike, today we don't have the most exciting or positive of topics. We've been talking about sort of the storm clouds on the horizon, this sort of doom and gloom impending recession that is, well, it's already here, but likely to get worse. But it's not a lost cause, right? If you're out there planning for retirement, thinking about retirement, maybe you haven't started planning yet, but you're hoping, as we've been talking about, there are things you can do. You can take action, protect yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So let's start here. So as you know, by the way, I do tend to be optimistic. I tend to be a pretty happy person. So I don't enjoy talking about storm clouds.
Right.
I don't enjoy talking about what I see coming.
Yeah.
But it's so in our face right now. It's so obvious that you got to kind of talk about it.
Yes.
Right?
Elephant in the room. Yes.
Yeah, and in case you missed it earlier, we've got some headlines here that I printed out some headlines that I've come across recently. We saw inflation, the report came out. We were expected to have inflation kind of level off or drop. Instead, the report said, nope, inflation's still going up.
Yeah.
Right? It has not leveled off, which means the Fed is probably going to keep raising interest rates. Which means this headline, mortgage rates top 6% for the first time since 2008. How old were you in 2008, Jonathan?
I was 15.
My gosh.
I know. I remember it, though, very vividly.
You probably weren't looking for a mortgage then.
No. Thinking about a car, though.
Who isn't?
Right?
Right?
15, right? Yeah.
And then, yeah. But so we've got mortgage rates above 6%. Same day, the headline says mortgage demand has plummeted like 29% as interest rates go up. So basically, we've got inflation still going up, which means the Fed's still pushing interest rates up, which means mortgage rates are going up, which means the housing market is collapsing.
Yes.
We are seeing it happen in front of our very eyes. Even in Austin, which is a hotbed of housing, we're seeing that it's not like it was.
No.
You know, it used to be a year from now, you put your house on the market on a Saturday morning, and by later that afternoon, you've got 35 competing bids.
That's right. It's done, yeah.
It's like, oh, cool, who's going to give me $100,000 more than what I put the house on the market for?
Exactly. Yeah.
And, oh, no, that one's giving me $120,000. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone. That is totally gone. You have new housing developments. The builders are reporting that nobody's looking at the houses in the new housing developments.
Right.
Why? They can't afford them because interest rates have shot up. How's that going to affect the economy? Well, we know how that affects the economy. It's bad. And on top of all of this, we're now sitting on something called an inverted yield curve. And what that means is that short-term interest rates are actually higher than long-term interest rates, which is the exact opposite of what logic tells us we should expect.
Yep.
That is a screaming red flag that recession is coming up in the not-too-distant future.
Right.
We're already in a recession technically. Interest rates rising, mortgage rates rising, housing market crashing and burning. All of this is a precursor to bad economy.
Right.
And when the economy goes south, what do you think happens to the stock market?
Same thing.
And your retirement savings.
Yeah, it goes down.
You can't just sit there anymore. If you're retired right now, if you are retiring in the near future, you hope to retire in the near future, you can no longer sit on your hands and just hope it's all going to magically work out and hope the market's going to take care of you. You need a plan. You need strategies to protect yourself no matter what the markets do. So here's a question that I would ask you. This might be the first question that comes to my mind. If you're already retired and you're taking money from your portfolio, how are you protecting that income? How are you ensuring that that income is going to come to you no matter what the stock market does? If you're going to retire in the next 2 to 3 years, what strategies have you already put in place to make sure that when you retire that your paycheck will continue? But this time, instead of from your employer, but from your portfolio. How are you strategically structuring your money to replace your paycheck after you retire, no matter what the stock market does?
That's right.
Whether the market says, okay, we're going to cooperate or not, what are you doing to make sure you can retire on time the way you want to, no matter what? And by the way, if your answer is, my financial advisor has me in a diversified portfolio, that don't cut it.
Not going to work out.
That means that you are probably invested the same way that I had my parents invested 23 years ago when they retired. And that way did not work out when the markets didn't cooperate. And guess what? It probably won't work for you either. You can't accept that. That's an unacceptable answer. Or even worse, maybe you don't have an advisor. Almost all of your money's in your 401k. And you're using either, maybe you build a portfolio, you just kind of let it run, or maybe you're using one of those target date funds.
Yes.
Those target date funds are great when you're in your 20s or 30s and you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
They are not great for those of you that are getting close to retirement.
Right.
But when the market doesn't cooperate, they're not a great place to be. Now is the time. It is more important than ever. And especially if you're recently retired, you're a couple years into retirement, you're a couple years away from retirement. If you're near that nexus point of retirement, you absolutely cannot mess up your financial strategies. That is the most sensitive time of your entire life when it comes to the financial strategies you employ. Your ability for your money to last as long as you do, your ability to maintain lifestyle the way you want to in your retirement, that all revolves around the strategies you put in play right now. Especially when we have all of these screaming red flags that are telling us that things are going to get worse before they get better. Now here's the thing. If you set up those strategies the right way, like an income strategy, for example, if you set it up the right way, let's say I'm completely wrong and the markets do well.
Right.
Well, guess what? That's okay. You still win.
Yeah, you win the game.
You still win. Everything
All
works
right.
out well. But what if the markets don't do so well? What if the markets decide, you know what? We are going to go south for the winter, as they say.
Right.
What if they just go down for an extended period of time? You know, from 2000 to 2009, we had 10 years where the markets earned nothing.
Yeah, flat.
In fact, they actually lost money.
Yeah.
What if we get that again? Which, by the way, Warren Buffett's favorite indicator says we're about to get that again. That we're already in the beginning stages of that. What if that happens? Are you still going to be okay? I mean, ask yourself that question. If your portfolio earns nothing for the next 10 years, you going to be okay? Well, guess what? Odds are you're not. Probably not. But here's the thing. If you have the right strategies in place, you'll be okay.
That's right. That's
Right? If the market doesn't produce right strategies in place, you're still going to be okay. Why would you not want to protect yourself?
Yes. Put yourself
Right?
in a win-win situation.
It's exactly that easy. And so investing, if that's all you're doing, you're not planning, you're hoping.
Right.
You don't have the time to hope anymore.
Yes.
Now is a time you have to plan. And that's why it is so important that you call us right now. For the first 10 callers only, we only have time 12 or 10 spots. For the first 10 callers, provided you saved at least a couple $100,000 for retirement, we will put together for free a personalized retire right report. That report gives you a baseline, right, Jonathan, that
right.
lays out here's where you are.
Yep.
It lays out here's what you're doing well and here's where you need to plan.
Right. Right.
And it gives you some ideas of here's what you can do. It is free. There are no obligations. It is ridiculously easy. It's the easiest way to make sure that you're in great shape when it comes to your planning. Jonathan, what's
Right.
that number? How do they get this?
Reach out to us, 512-886-5850. Again, our number, 512-886-5850. all it costs you is a little bit of time. That's it. Commit a little bit of time to one of the most, if not the most important thing that's going on in your life right now, thinking about retirement, planning for retirement.
Yeah, this is, and I can't emphasize how easy we make it.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want this to be hard for you. I want you
Yeah.
to, here's what I want. I want you to call us. I want to get this report in your hands. And I want you to just kind of kick back afterwards and say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did that. It was so easy.
Yep.
Right? We do all the work.
That's right. We do.
And why do we do it? Because for every 10 families we do this for, we know that roughly 3 of them might choose to work with us.
Yeah.
And the other 7, we've delivered a wonderful tool for them, and they're thrilled to death. So I want you to pick up the phone. Do not put this off. Now is the time. 512-886-5850. Again, 512-886-5850. We're about to go to break. It's a perfect time to call us. Set up a time to start, have a conversation with Jonathan so we can get this process started for you. All right, don't go anywhere. We got one more segment coming up. We will be right back.